Now, what's wrong with you? Tonsillitis?
Appendicitis.
Yeah! Nobody's died of tonsillitis around here for a while.
Appendicitis.
Nothing to worry about. Scalpel?
What if the joint were in somebody else's hand, like your surgeon, your lawyer, or your local policeman? Would you still say marijuana is harmless?
Now, let's see if I can still make a straight line.
This film is a dramatized reconstruction of events leading up to the bombing of Pan Am 103 over Lockerbie with the loss of 270 lives. The investigation which follows is based on official documents, police reports, interviews with more than 40 people who lived through these events, and extensive research in Europe and America.
Excuse me, can you get my case onto the New York flight?
Baggage is closed now.
Please, I have to be on that flight.
They're already boarding.
Well, I can't take it on as cabin luggage. Listen, there must be some way you can help me out. I have a very important engagement in New York.
Okay, see what I can do.
Thank you. I want to make a call to New York. By American Airways.
Did you get a copy? Not yet. I asked for one to be sent.
Pan American Airways. Connecting you now, sir. Call for you, sir.
Am I speaking to the chairman of Pan Am?
This is Acker.
I just put a bomb onto one of your planes on a transatlantic flight out of Europe.
That's just not possible. Who is it?
It's Yossi Langotsky. You'll be relieved to hear it's a dummy. This time.
Pulling stunts like this is not the way I expect you to check out the security on this airline, Langotsky.
Mr. Acker, in my view, it's only the will of Providence that has saved your airlines from terrorist attack.
I don't want this to happen again. You understand me?
Precisely.
Ever since the U.S. raid on Gaddafi, Americans have been afraid to fly to Europe. I want to convince our passengers they're perfectly safe on Pan Am. That's why I made Fred Ford head of our new security system. I want Alert to be the best. I want it to be the most reliable system anywhere in the world. I did not make this decision so that you could allow these Israelis to go around playing paramilitary games.
Look, you've got to admit, Ed, they've exposed some fundamental flaws in our current system. In Hamburg, Berlin, Frankfurt, Rome, London, for God's sake.
Fred, America's #1 airline doesn't need a bunch of Israelis telling us how to run our business.
I've had calls from our station chiefs all over Europe, Fred. And you better believe they are mightily pissed with these guys.
Maybe that's because Langotsky and his team have shown that they can get a bomb on almost any of our transatlantic flights.
I hired these Israelis to write us a report with the sincere hope that we could make Pan Am more secure. I did not hire them to disrupt a smoothly running airline.
They're state-of-the-art, Ed. They made El Al the safest airline in the whole world.
This is an American airline. Let's do it our way.
I don't want to micromanage you on this, Fred. You have an open brief. You have an unlimited budget. Make it work, Fred. And I want you to take a look at that for me.
Sure.
That's my speech. For the ads that we're going to be running on the network, I want to make sure that our passengers are well aware of all we're doing for their benefit.
Harry, have you ever come across a Colonel Wilfred Wood in your travels?
Air Force?
No. He's a Brit.
Never heard of him.
This guy Wood is ex-Army. I want him to head up Alert's recruitment and training.
Army and military?
Check this out. He trains the SAS in Beirut. He was in charge of the military police in Northern Ireland. He's trained the Queen of England's bodyguards, for Christ's sake. He's a soldier, Harry. He's the real thing. Just what we need to train Alert's people to outthink the terrorists. With this guy on the team, I promise you, Pan Am security staff will be second to none. I like the company supporting this, whatever it takes to get him.
Don't you forget, we're running a civil airline, okay? And do yourself a favor, Fred. Forget that Rambo stuff. That kind of talk makes the passengers nervous. You got me?
مرحبا.
أهلا وسهلا. مع السلامة.
ولا زمان ما شفناك يا مروان.
13 سنة.
ما عديت السنين. بدي أحكي معك.
تفضل. خلي بالك على المحل. سكري الباب.
شكرا.
شو بدك يا أخ؟
قال لي البربرية الأمريكية ذبحوا الأطفال والنساء الأبرياء تبع رفاقنا في ليبيا. صار لازم المنادمة تتحرك.
شو دخلي أنا بهادي؟
جماعة يمكن نحتاج إلى مهاراتك مرة تانية.
صار لي زمان ما عدت أشتغل هذه الشغلة.
أنا فاكر إنك لسه. وإنت رح تيجي لدمشق لما راح ينادوك.
Pan Am is initiating one of the most far-reaching security programs in our industry. It's called Alert. It's designed to screen passengers, employees, baggage, aircraft, and airport facilities with great thoroughness. Alert will involve Pan Am's own highly trained security experts and many of the most sophisticated screening devices in the world. We at Pan Am are determined to provide a secure environment for our passengers. Fact is, we're looking at a loss of $118 million in this last quarter. Now, on that projection, you can expect a loss of $350 million before the year's out.
And the bailiffs are right here in Park Avenue.
We've got a real problem here. We have to turn this trend before the peak summer months.
This is balance sheet, Harry. There's a poll of travel agents. 66% say they would book their clients on an airline which offers the best security.
It is my firm endeavor to make Pan American a profit-making corporation again. I want you to go in there, and I want you to impress upon these people that the Alert security system is a program to bring back the passenger. during this period of fiscal underachievement.
I won't pretend I've had much experience of the private sector.
You leave that to me. The last thing I need right now is another organization man. I want somebody with some muscle.
You need a military man for this job.
Your reputation precedes you, Jumbo.
Good morning, gentlemen. Please, come in. Take a seat. Let me give you some context on this one, Colonel.
Call me Jumbo, the Queen does.
Pan Am is America. We are the official carrier for U.S. government employees. Now, I don't have to spell it out to a man of your reputation what kind of a target that makes us in the current world climate.
Well, it's my opinion the airline business has never really given enough consideration to how to deal with the terrorist threat.
Yeah, well, we haven't been helped by Reagan trying to take out Gaddafi. Since we bombed Libya, every time you switch on the TV, there's some Arab screaming that all Americans are targets. The upshot is that there's been a slide of over 30% in our transatlantic load factor.
Sorry?
What's that?
Load factor.
Industry talk for passengers.
The people who fly our carrier, pay our salaries. We've got to get this right. Then we have a real edge over our competitors.
Not that we don't have our problems. Number one being these minimum wage body brokers subcontracted to handle security.
What's their background?
Listen to me. If these guys were to get work flipping burgers under the Golden Arches, it would be a step up the career ladder.
But what we need is our own people, fully trained with a clear chain of command. I haven't been able to do any costings, of course, but the fact is I can't guarantee a proper training program on the cheap.
Jumbo, that's not a problem. We're currently allotting a $5 security surcharge for every transatlantic passenger. You read the ads in the New York Times, right?
Not so sure I have, no.
Well, let's say we have 12,000 people every day flying across the Atlantic. That means we're pulling in, what, 60,000 a day. Now, I'm currently calculating a budget for alert securities of $20 million a year, just from the surcharge alone. You can work with that, right?
I'm sure I can.
And that's just a conservative estimate.
احنا بنجمع قواتنا من شان ضربة جديدة ضد العدو. خلفوني انا ابني شابكة في قلب ارض العدو. طبعا احتاج مساعدة.
في كتير يقدروا يعملوا قنابل.
القائد العام بيد الجهاد بيعرف يفكر من نفسه.
I think it's time I brought you up to date, Ed. The training program's beginning to take shape as we speak. I'm building a recruitment profile, and in just a few days I should be in a position to outline some figures for you. We're right on target here.
There's something I need for you to do first, Fred.
It's time to grab some headlines. We've got to turn around these load factor figures over the summer months.
We're organizing a press conference at JFK to announce the implementation of the alert program.
You think you can handle this, Fred?
Sure, Harry. What are you thinking of?
June the 12th.
That's just 4 weeks away.
You got it.
Well, it'll take me at least 4 weeks to put together a staff, then another 4 weeks training, minimum. Anyway, they take 13 weeks to train a sniffer dog.
No can-do sport.
Staffing is not an issue here.
You have the staff in place.
What? You mean those $4 an hour goons from Rent-A-Cop? Get out of here, Harry. Haven't you read my report? My first priority is to have those bozos walk.
That would not be an available option, Fred. You'll have to work with the material already at your disposal.
That's not possible, Marty. They have no training.
Now, wait a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that's what you were hired to do.
My brief is to train and nurture a fully professional team.
There's a political side to this.
I had the Teamsters on the line this morning. They've assured me that if you lay off any of the union staff who work for the firm that handles the security, they take the rest of the Pan Am staff out with them.
They have us over a barrel here.
This is serious. The state the company's in right now, the last thing we can afford is for the unions to walk out.
I suggest that you put these people through an interim training program.
There isn't the time.
No choice, Fred.
And put them in alert uniforms. I've had an Italian designer work out a few ideas. See to it, Fred.
They really don't deserve their reputation. If they're properly trained, they make the cutest pets. They're so loyal, and they're really sweet with children. Oh, ain't you, boy? Hey, check this guy out. He's a real sweetheart.
Are they trained?
Not exactly.
Not at all?
We like to leave that up to the owner, sir.
Let me have half a dozen. And I need them tomorrow morning.
Over here! Look here!
And as a backup to our highly trained staff, Alert has a team of sniffer dogs, each highly trained to detect controlled substances and explosive material. The pledge that Pan Am makes to its customers is that the Alert program will make this the safest airline in the whole world.
Port Authority Police. Who's in charge of this three-ring circus out here?
I guess technically I am.
And you got some explaining to do, pal. Those mutts of yours can't even control their bowel functions.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You know the rules. Only my men are authorized to carry weapons in this terminal.
I know that.
And how come I counted a dozen men out there with pieces stuck in their belts?
Look, listen, can you live with me on this? I cleared it with your bosses, just till the cameras go. It's just a little bit of PR. Well, they're not going to shoot anybody.
I hope to God they're not.
No, I mean, well, you know, the guns, they're only replicas. They don't work.
These may look like ordinary airport security personnel, but in fact they are a team of highly trained professionals from Pan Am, part of a new initiative, the Alert Program, to ensure Pan American's high level of security is unique in the airline industry.
Sit down, Fred. I've just gotten the third quarter forecast. You'll be delighted to hear that we look very good for the coming summer months. We've managed to turn a second quarter deficit of $152 million into a projected profit of $5.5 million.
The travel agents are booking their clients onto Pan Am again.
That's great.
And it's not unconnected to your efforts on behalf of the alert system. We appreciate that.
So I can count on your support in acting on the Israelis' recommendations?
No need to bring that one up now, Fred.
Look, please, Marty, just a second. I have very mixed emotions on this. Pan Am is the only U.S. carrier to take a stand vis-a-vis security. I like to see this thing through.
Fred, how many times must we tell you? We are not El Al.
The Israelis in their interim report categorically spell out our vulnerability.
So now we have Alert. Things have changed.
Not enough. At least not to the extent we've advertised.
The point here, Fred, is if we take aboard an LL-style security, we seriously run the risk of infringing our negotiated contracts with foreign airports.
Well, how can that be? El Al is the safest airline in the world.
Will you let El Al go? El Al has 18 flights a day, goddammit. Pan Am has 400. We carry over 12 million passengers every year.
And every passenger to Europe paying a $5 surcharge. If one of those passengers were to ask me what we give them for that, I'd be very hard-pressed at this moment to give them an answer. I mean, we're risking a very serious embarrassment here.
I'm very disappointed, Fred. If you had the ball, you could have run with it.
What are we talking about here, Harry? You know these changes in security have been entirely cosmetic? And Gutsky and his people have shown the risk we're running?
Yeah? Well, the Israelis are on their way out, all right?
What is this?
Yes, sir. I'm transferring back to Switzerland.
What those jokers are suggesting is just not compatible with running a civil airline. This is from Ed, pal. What can I tell you? Listen, Pan Am does what the Federal Aviation Administration says we should, right?
The FAA list has no balls. Even you know that.
But as far as our government's concerned, we are right on target. Yes? You with me?
Look, I was hired to make Pan Am the safest airline in the world. I can still do that. I still got the money from the $5 surcharge.
Fred, where the hell have you been? That doesn't mean you have anything extra to play with. That goes straight into corporate funds. We need every dime we can keep right now.
Mr. Ford, could you please call Pan Am World Services on your return? Pan American Airways.
Yeah, Fred Ford for World Services.
Connecting you now, sir.
Fred? Listen, you're off the case.
What are you talking about?
I've been told to convey to you that as far as the corporation is concerned, your security philosophy is now inconsistent with our long-term goals. Fred?
In the 2 years following Fred Ford's dismissal, alert security systems had no fewer than 3 different presidents. Pan Am chairman Edward Acker was replaced, and the company's promise to establish alert in its airports around the world was never fulfilled. The $5 security surcharge continued to be levied throughout that period.
An Iranian airliner brought down over the Gulf. The Pentagon is investigating whether it may have been hit by a U.S. Navy ship. Iran immediately accused the United States of shooting down the plane on a scheduled flight between Bandar Abbas and Dubai. The U.S. denied that, saying they'd shot down an Iranian fighter plane. But tonight, Pentagon sources say it may not have been a fighter, and there could have been a tragic accident. Here's more from our correspondent in Tehran.
Iran claims to have recovered more than half of the 290 passengers, but it's feared the remains of those still missing may never be found.
It was the first time the people of Iran have been officially called onto the streets to protest at the shooting down of the Airbus. The procession moved slowly through the city, the mourners chanting anti-American slogans before the victims were finally laid to rest. From the platform, Iran's President Khamenei attacked America and Iraq for conspiring to plot the attack.
Today, the speeches reverted to a familiar theme: America and President Reagan condemned as the great Satan, and revenge promised for the deaths of the Airbus passengers.
السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته يا أخي. لي الشرف أن أنقل إليكم حياة صديقكم ومعجز بكم أحمد جبريل. وكيف حال منظمتكم؟ الكفاح صعب والعدو قوي. لا تستهينوا بقدرات أصدقائكم. عنا ناس كويسين كتير في خول أوروبا. سبكة المخابرات تبعنا عريضة. بنحدد العمليات كبيرة، لكن المصاريف العمليات مش قليلة. أخيراً أمروني أن أقدم لكم المساعدة المطلوبة.
تصرف لكم بمبلغ 10 ملايين دولار.
الله أكبر، الحمد لله.
قتلت قوات الكفر 209 من شعبنا في يوم عيد الأضحى المبارك، في نفس اليوم الذي كان الشيطان الكبير يحتفل بيوم استقلاله. يجب أن ننتقم من هذا العمل في السماء مسبوغة بالدم.
Terrorist, freedom fighter, guerrilla, revolutionary, call him what you will. It is not our job to pontificate on the rectitude of his beliefs, but to combat his methods. Now, what are the aims of the terrorist? Any ideas?
Come on, come on. Hat niemand was zu sagen? Was ist das Ziel der Terroristen?
Yeah.
Menschen zu töten?
She says to kill people.
Well, yes, but as Mao Zedong said, kill one, scare 1,000.
Kunwood is one of the foremost experts on counterterrorism in the free world. We have been chosen to pioneer the alert security system on the continent of Europe. We should be proud that he is here today to ask us this question. So, I ask you once again, what is the aim of the terrorist? Answer.
To win a propaganda victory.
Not exactly, no. No? Well, the primary aim of the terrorist is quite simply to disrupt our normal lives. To make the public frightened of things that they would usually take for granted.
Such as air travel.
Precisely. Frankfurt Airport is the crossroads of Europe. 27 million people pass through here every year. Any one of them is a potential threat to airline security. Any one of them could be your terrorist. And he, and I should say he or she, will use ordinary objects from everyday life to further his aim. Now, there's no security system in the world that can stop your terrorist from trying it on. But there is one thing that can stand between him and the achievement of his goal. And I'm not talking about a metal detector or an X-ray machine or a pressure chamber. The one thing that could spell the difference between life and death for the passengers on your aeroplane is you. Now, I purchased all these items quite openly from the duty-free. In the right hands, they could blow a 747 out of the air. Now, watch carefully.
أهلين. طولنا ما شفناك يا أخ. أهلا وسهلا.
أعرف ألاقيك وين.
لحظة. عملت المطلوب.
الآن عنا السباب وعنا التماول وعنا الوسائل، ورجالنا موزعين في أوروبا كلها. احنا الآن جاهزين تمار مجهودك.
هذا جهاز متطور من جهاز بارومتر عادي. في مفتاح طرد هنا. شايف عليه؟ ماخوذ من جهاز بارومتر.
يعني ما بيقدرش يتفجر على الأرض.
هذه هي الفكرة.
شو بيصير لو حطوه في غرفة درد؟
ركبت مفتاح توقيت هون. يشتغل البطارية نحطها هون. المفتاح يشتغل لوحده في وقت محدود. مثلا 12 ساعة بعد ما يتوصل بالفيش الراسي الجيك بلاك.
يعني بيقدر يتفجر بس في الهواء؟
بالضبط، لأني ركبت الجهاز لهذا السبب بالتحديد.
وين تنحت المتفجرات؟
نطلع مكبر الصوت نوصله هون. يصير أحسن أوصله بنفسي.
حجمه صغير كتير.
لازم نخاطر. على العموم لأن كمية السمتكس بسيطة كتير، فرصتنا كبيرة أن تمر بالسلام عبر ماكينة الإكس. شايف؟
ممتاز. رح نحمل الراديوات على أوروبا والسويتسات نبعدها لحالها. رح يتصلوا فيك لما يكون الوقت مناسب للرحلة البيزنس تبعك إلى ألمانيا.
إمتى يعني؟
لما أعرف راح تعرف على طول.
It was an inspiration to listen to you today.
You might have tried to hire a few more bilinguals.
We only had a couple of weeks.
After all, you're an American company.
It's hard to find English speakers.
You seem to do all right.
My father was an American. I was 3 years U.S. Army, sir.
Yes, I read your CV, but it's your staff that worries me. I mean, all the material's in English.
Well, don't worry about it, Colonel. We're gonna get there.
We should have set up this program in Europe 2 years ago. Ever since my first boss, Fred Ford, got the old heave-ho, my situation's been a bit bloody iffy, to say the least of it. Still, there's a new regime now in Park Avenue. They show every indication of being right behind alert. Your new boys will need a couple of weeks' training, though.
Benham told me they only pay for 2 days.
Marwan Krisat, where did you commence your journey?
Amman.
Purpose of visit?
Business.
السلام عليكم.
أهلا.
الليلة راح تقعد معي.
إمتى راح نقابل صاحبنا؟
بجرى لألمانيا قريبا إن شاء الله. بسفر مهود نايس.
شو اسمه هذا؟
عبد الله.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
أنا راح أرجع لألمانيا الشبكة جاهزة.
نحن جاهزين.
راح نحتسب مساعدتك.
كيف أتصل فيك؟
أحسن من إنسان لما تسمعه كتير. تسمع مني لما يوم لازم تتحرك. طيب.
Now, we're gonna need 2 profile screeners at each check-in desk. We're gonna need 3 scanners at each X-ray machine. I want 5 cabin searchers.
We haven't got the people,
Just
Uli.
shut up. Do exactly what I tell you, all right?
We should have 55 staff here. We've only got 22.
Damn it, Cock. I have done everything I can. I have managed to get them to authorize 160 extra man-hours. What more do you expect me to do? Let's just try to get through this day, all right? Listen, there's a $10,000 fine for each security infringement this FAA guy finds. So if we don't get through it, it's your ass in the shredder as well as mine.
We are just not prepared for this.
Look, who is in charge here?
Well, it's your show, Uli.
Right. So, let's get this show on the road.
Hey, Hans, come over here. This way.
All right. His name is Tommy Dome. He's American, late 30s. Piata will clue you in when he comes into view. Now, the instant he moves on, here's what I want you to do. You all go, you change into your uniforms. By the time this FAA guy is on the plane, you are searching the cabins, all right?
I've never done that before, sir.
Do you think he knows that? Now, there are a few things to get straight, right? Number one, you never let him out of your sight, not for a second. Number two, the moment he does leave, you let us know exactly where he goes next. Number three, you answer all his questions, but you never volunteer any information he doesn't ask you for. And number four, if he does find an infringement, you're gonna fix it. You're gonna fix it right there and then on the spot. Now, do you think you can remember that? At least try to look as if you know what you're doing. And for God's sakes, man, look, give this uniform a brushing. Make yourself presentable. Expect me to conduct an operation and work with these deadbeat zombie assholes? Hey, you two, we on holiday or something? Check the runway, you check the gate.
I have you.
Hello. Oliver, I'll meet you there. Come on. Yeah, there. 1 second. Could I possibly ask you a favor? I want you to just make sure that old Tommy feels absolutely at home. All right? Here we go.
Hafez Mohammed Hussein, also known as Abdullah. He's normally resident in Damascus, but he moves around a lot. He visited the Bundesrepublik earlier this year. Age 47, occupation, used car salesman. So I sent the photos to Israel, and Mossad have come back with a positive ID. Mr. Hussein is none other than Hafez Hassan Dalkhomoni. He's on the Central Committee of the Popular Front for Liberation of Palestine. General Command.
What's he doing here?
Maybe he's here to buy a used car, I don't know. I need your authorization, sir, to continue our autumn leave surveillance operation. Mossad don't think he's here for his health. This is some of the stuff they send us. This is Dalkhomoni's boss, the godfather, Ahmed Jibril, leader of PFLP-GC. Thinks Arafat sold out the glorious struggle for Palestinian homeland. This is one of their training camps in Syria where he's based. These boys have no fear of death. For them, it's the gateway to paradise.
Is he religious?
When it suits, I think. He's a soldier. Won't stop fighting while there's a state of Israel. He's known to favor rather sophisticated high-tech methods. Last year, he sent motorized hang gliders into Israel. They're primarily a military organization up against Israeli troops in the occupied territories. They have been known to hit civilian targets. And last year, Jibril said that no passenger on an Israeli or American airplane should feel safe.
But no German connection.
None that we know, sir.
Keep your eye on Mr. Dalkhomoni. I doubt I'll have any trouble with the authorizations.
Thank you, sir.
But I don't want you to lift him until Operation Autumn Leaves has something tangible we can hold him on.
He's on his way now?
Yeah, right now.
Okay, thank you. Zeiter, he's on his way now.
What do you do with the baggage transferring from other airlines?
We put every piece of interline luggage through the X-ray machine, sir.
Pan Am doesn't try and match the bags with transit passengers then?
Not as a matter of course, sir, no.
Right. Okay, miss. Why don't we take a look at cabin security?
Right, he's on his way to the cabin now, okay?
Yeah.
Right, now you two, get up to check-in and cover the profile screening. Now!
There are a few items of concern, Rick.
Shoot.
Well, the main area is the interline luggage.
It all goes through the X-ray machines.
In theory, yeah, but I don't think that's enough. Oh, hello, Herr Meyer.
Hello, Mr. Dome. I think you've met Herr Hubner, security chief for Pan Am here at Frankfurt.
I trust everything went smoothly for you, Mr. Dome.
As always, the FAA are entirely appreciative of your concern for aviation security. You seem to have a very labor-intensive operation here. But as I was just saying to Rick, there are a few defects that I'd like you to direct your thoughts towards.
There's nothing wrong, is there?
Let's just see what he has to say here, Mike.
I'm going to recommend that you beef up interline.
Are you saying this is FAA policy?
I'm saying that'll be in my report.
I'm sure Pan Am's reaction will be to inform the FAA that any departure from the present system would be unreasonably onerous and unnecessary.
You're going to need to be able to, well, to match passengers transferring from other airlines with their baggage.
I thought we'd been through all this. Your people have agreed with Pan Am corporate security that X-raying is an acceptable substitute.
My concern is that you're not making any attempt to track what happens to interline bags. You keep no records. I mean, you can't even know how many there are.
So?
So something could slip through the system unnoticed. I think you should at least be doing spot checks.
It would be very difficult to do what you suggest, Mr. Dome, given our limited manpower.
Well, see what we can do, Tommy.
It's not up to me to determine security policy. However, the priorities have been made perfectly clear to me. A delay of just a few minutes in takeoff means we lose our air traffic control window. This, in turn, could represent a holdover of up to a couple of hours.
You can be sure that any recommendations I make will be entirely motivated by a concern for the needs of your passengers.
It costs the company $10,000 an hour to keep one of these planes on the blocks. I'm sure the FAA has no desire to impede our profitability, Mr. Dome.
You'll be receiving our report.
Tommy, I'll make sure Alert takes your counsel very seriously. You know I intend to get the system up and running.
I know you do, Rick. I'm right behind you on this program. And as a gesture of my support, I don't think I'll be recommending any fines.
Thank you.
لازم نمشي.
حاضر.
Hamburg, this is office. Can you go this way?
What do you have here?
They've left the flat, sir.
This just came through.
We just had Frankfurt, sir.
They've left something, I know.
Autumn leaves 3, they're walking towards the zoo.
يا بعيد كتير عن البيت. عشان الازار راح تروح هزيلك البيت. مستعد تنزل الصغور؟ طيب يلا.
On the Autobahn from Frankfurt.
Düsseldorf?
Could be.
They're taking the Neuss Central turnout.
Probably going to the Isarstrasse flat. Have we got someone there?
They're in place, sir.
كله تمام، هي مؤمنة. البضاعة تبعك وصلت من شام. هذا ممكن يستنى للصبح.
لازم اتاكد ان كل شيء موجود. وين السمتكس؟
أنا جبتها لحالي من يوغوسلافيا.
لازم بكره نلف شويه المحلات.
طيب.
Hooks, wires, batteries.
Well, I'll never get the go-ahead to arrest him for buying an alarm clock.
He must be their explosives expert. It's time we pulled them in.
We give it a few more days.
We can't afford to wait. There's something going on here.
Look, we can't move until we know their target. When I go in, I want to make sure we pick up everybody in their network. And that we have enough evidence to put them away for a very long time. All of them. Now continue the surveillance.
مين؟
إبراهيم.
تعال تفضل.
بيقول لي إنه البضاعة هون. تحتاج شيء تاني؟
لا خلاص. هي
لا يخرب عقلك، بدك نروح فدير؟
شو علموك في تدريب؟ مش رح تنفجر قبل ما اركبها. روح جيب لي سندويش. إذا لقيت البناية في محلها رح تعرف إني ركبتها منيح. استنى شوي. يلا يا ولاد روحوا العبوا لفوق. يلا يلا امشوا. الو بدي اخبرك عملنا تغييرات في العلاج صار اقوى واحسن من قبل. طيب
هذا عبد الله. كل شيء راح يكون حاضر خلال ايام. ايوه.
During October 1988, the terrorists worked on at least 3 radio cassette bombs. Eluding police surveillance, one of the devices was transported from the cellar in a brown suitcase and disappeared.
It's the translation of the latest intercept here over Commissar. Giacomoni on the line to Damascus.
Things are almost ready. I'll be with you on Friday.
What do you think?
I think things are getting out of control. I reckon it's time we sweep up these autumn leaves.
Heading towards Central Noise. Taking it.
All right. Let's have them.
You've still got it. You ready to switch, Steve?
We're with you.
Now turning right. Continuing along high flats. Turning left on Hafenstrasse. We're going to pass it.
We see it. On our way.
Box. Let's have them.
Polizei!
On October 26, 1988, the German police arrested 16 suspected terrorists in a nationwide roundup. All the suspects were taken to Dusseldorf police station.
Brings him in.
In you go, boy.
I think we've got something here.
I have no wish to make a statement at this time. I'm only willing to state that I and the organization I represent have no quarrels with the German people or the German government.
Mr. Dalcomoni, we already have more than enough evidence on which to hold you for a very long time.
With respect, sir, I was a prisoner of the Zionists for 11 years. I'm not unused to a cell.
Abdul Fattah Galanfa, you are charged with being a member of a terrorist organization.
It is not an organization of terror. It's part of the Palestinian people's struggle for a homeland.
And in addition, with conspiracy to cause explosions.
I don't know anything about explosions. It's not my job to ask. Mr. Dalhamouni is on Central Committee. I just pay the rent.
What was Dalcomoni's business in the Federal Republic?
He has an artificial leg. The firm that makes the spare parts is a noise.
You looking for somewhere to live, Mr. Dalcomoni?
Dalcomoni. This was my village in 1963, just outside of Nazareth. Look at it today. I have nowhere to live. The Israelis took my homeland. The Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine General Command is a military organization. Our enemies are those who dispossessed my people.
Then why are you on German soil, Mr. Dalcomoni?
My organization thought that the German people might have some sympathy with our fight against Zionism. The weapons you found were to be shipped back to the occupied land of Palestine.
Mr. Dalcomoni, were you aware that a bomb containing a barometric pressure switch was found in the back of your car?
What is the purpose of such a device?
It is to cause an explosion on an aircraft, is it not? You were planning to blow up a plane.
It was meant for Palestine. It was designed to blow up Israeli installations in the mountains.
What exactly is your business, Mr. Krisat?
I'm an electrician.
I imagine that's an occupation that might have its uses for the PFLP-GC.
I told you I don't know anything about the PFLP-GC.
Your presence in the car connects you to the operation.
I was only visiting.
You can expect 10 years, minimum.
All I know is that they take their orders from Abu Muhammad.
You mean Dalcomoni?
Dalcomoni, Abdullah, he has many names. What can I expect if I'm helpful to you?
This is the largest cache of arms and explosives ever found on West German soil. In the flat at Sandweg in Frankfurt, 6 Kalashnikov rifles with 19 magazines and 3 silencers. A Beretta automatic pistol with 900 rounds of ammunition. A rocket launcher, rocket grenades, together with a quantity of explosives, Semtex, plastique, TNT, hand grenades,
and 94 detonators. In the boot of the car at Neuss, together with a further kilo of explosives and a fake Spanish passport, an improvised explosive device of a barometric design, hidden inside a Toshiba Bombbeat 453 radio cassette, was discovered. Details of the design of this device have been circulated to major European security agencies. From information received, we have no doubt that Operation Autumn Leaves has successfully prevented a Europe-wide terror campaign.
عذر لا تصل فيك. مسكوا دولكموني. العملية تأجلت. بدنا ننتظر التعليمات.
Within 24 hours of their arrest, 12 of the 16 terrorist suspects were released for lack of evidence. The public prosecutor applied urgently for the continued detention of the 3 prime suspects.
The office of the Bundesgerichtshof is prepared to renew the orders on Dalkamoni and Gadanfa, but can find no reason to comply with the public prosecutor's request for the continued detention of Kreshat. There is no evidence to cast doubt on his claim that he's merely a friend of Dalkamoni. No urgent suspicion of involvement can be proved. Consequently, this office can find no pressing reason to keep this man in jail.
We had him. There is absolutely no doubt he was the bomb maker. Those phone intercepts were completely unambiguous. I mean, we pick him up in the car with the Semtex, for God's sake.
We gave them more than enough evidence. We risked our lives on this operation.
Oh, yeah. You think the Justice Department gives a shit about that?
What more do they expect from us?
That's not the point. Somebody wanted Kresat to walk out of here.
Why would they want that?
Do you think we'll ever know? Maybe somebody owed him a favor. Maybe he was supposed to be working on our side. Maybe they thought they'd get more out of him back in the field. Maybe there was no great desire to hold that kind of Palestinian activist in one of our prisons. I mean, what are we supposed to be doing here, huh? This is not about policing, this is about politics. All I know is we prevent the biggest terrorist action in our country's history, and they won't let us put the bastards away. Well, I just hope to God our lords and masters know what they're doing.
Royal Jordanian Airlines flight RJ122 to Amman is now ready for boarding. Will all passengers please proceed now to gate 27?
On November 5th, 1988, Marwan Kresat was released and returned to Jordan, where he has since disappeared. 5 days later, the German authorities delivered a telex to all U.S. airlines at Frankfurt, describing in detail the Toshiba bomb device found in Dalkamoni's car. The telex concluded, it has to be assumed that there will be further efforts to bring similar explosive devices aboard aircraft.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes, I need a jacket.
Jacket's over here. I can do you a very good price for that, sir.
Okay, I'll take all these.
Thank you, sir. Certainly.
The FAA telex urged that procedure for the physical search of unaccompanied baggage should be rigorously applied.
So, good. Now, you are looking for areas of denseness, yeah? Now, organic material will show up orange like this, okay?
What do I do if
you see something that looks suspicious, you just pull it straight off the line, okay? Oh, mensch.
What does that mean?
Means it's kaput. Ever since we had this thing changed to color, it's been the same. Look, just, wait here a minute, okay?
Oliver, how's the new boy?
Oh, just, great, man. He comes to us with profound security experience. His last job was a hotel porter.
So, at least he's used to suitcases.
His crew has been on for 4 hours now. You go brain dead staring at those screens for all that time. The manufacturers say you should break every 20 minutes. And now the goddamn X-ray machine has gone down again. Uli, you have got to do something here.
Hey, look, I already told the station manager. What more do you expect me to do?
But that was weeks ago.
You're just gonna have to use the black and white, that's it.
That's nowhere near as good for organic material. There's no chance we can pick up plastic explosives.
Hello? Listen, I want to speak to somebody about a bomb threat.
Hello? Who is this?
There is going to be a bomb on an American flight out of Frankfurt.
How do you know about this?
You want to be on the lookout for a Palestinian living in Helsinki. His name is Yassan Garadat. Did you get that?
Yeah.
He is connected to somebody working out of Frankfurt called Abdullah. They are going to get the device on board using a Finnish woman. She doesn't know anything about it, okay?
Listen, where are you calling from? This is a terrible connection. Can I call you back?
This will happen sometime over the next couple of weeks on an American flight from Frankfurt, a Pan Am flight to America.
I've had a call from a friend of mine in the U.S. Embassy in Helsinki about a bomb warning. It singles out Pan Am at Frankfurt.
Better call corporate security in New York.
I already did. They're sending someone to Finland to check it out. And corporate security reminded me of that warning of bombs in Toshiba radio cassettes. So we've asked security in Helsinki to hand search the bags of every passenger who's going onto one of our planes.
What do we have to do about it?
They say we're supposed to look out for Finnish women passengers.
My apartment. Let's change. Yeah. Thanks. Well, I haven't. No. What's her name again?
How do you rate this communication from a security perspective?
It's the most specific I've ever seen. It names a time period, a carrier, and a route.
And it just so happens that route is one that most government employees in this embassy would normally take.
Mm-hmm. It's nearly Christmas. There are going to be an awful lot of our people taking Pan Am flights out of Frankfurt.
I think our people should know about this. I suggest we post this warning.
Do we have the authority?
Well, we've never had one quite like this before.
Well, what's the FAA position?
The FAA never released their warnings to the general public.
What about the other embassies? Will they post it?
Well, that's up to them, but this cable is so pertinent to our situation here in Moscow. Ask yourself this question. If you were planning to travel in the next couple of weeks, wouldn't you take this information into account?
Chances are it'll leak anyway.
Okay. We post an admin notice in the canteen so that all the embassy staff can see it.
I think it should be a little broader than that. I'd like to make sure that the U.S. business and expat communities are fully aware of this.
Right. If we make it public, everyone should have the chance to make up his own mind how they want to deal with this.
Even though this has been a quiet year for terrorism, as far as airline travel is concerned. We should never allow this to relax our vigilance. Remember, there is one thing that stands between the terrorist and the fulfillment of his task. You. You are the last line of defense for the passengers on this airline.
You'll be pleased to hear I just got word from Park Avenue commending me on the great business I've been doing here.
Really?
It saves them 3 million Deutschmarks since they set up about 6 months ago.
Well, that must have made their toes curl.
Something wrong, Colonel.
I don't know, Greg. They said I'd been singled out to help build a world-class system we could all be proud of. Muggins here was fool enough to believe them. I spent the last 2 years of my life tearing around the airports of the world like a blue-arsed fly. Nothing seems to have changed. Nobody seems to care. As long as the money keeps rolling in and the planes take off on time. I've been farting against thunder here, Rick. I've just about had enough of it.
Cook, you type up that agenda for tomorrow's meeting?
Yes, I'm just doing it. Uli? I notice there's next to nothing here about security.
It's an administrative session.
Well, I was just thinking about that warning we got a couple of weeks back.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know, that they picked up that cell in, terrorist cell up in Neuss. Something about bombs in tape recorders.
And never asked us to do anything special with that one.
I recommend it should be on today's agenda.
You are going beyond your competence, Cock. This is not your job description.
I recommend that we take the batteries out of every single radio cassette player we find, okay?
We turn our people loose on the passengers' private property. They smash half the things they touch. We go broke paying the damage claims.
Uli, it's the only way to ensure...
There's not an airline in the world that would go to these lengths. Do you think our passengers would be willing to check in 4 hours before a flight? Or they're not going to complain because suddenly they dragged off a jet because we couldn't match up a piece of luggage with a traveler? All these people want is to get home on time.
Oliver, you gotta lighten up, pal. It's almost Christmas. When all is said and done, air travel is still safer than crossing the road.
Other than screening Finnish passengers, Pan Am's procedures at Frankfurt Airport remained unchanged. There was no briefing of security personnel to update them on threat information. No enhanced procedures were in place as a result of the Toshiba radio cassette information or the other security warnings issued between June and December 1988. The precise events of the day which was to end with the deaths of 270 people remain unclear and the subject of the biggest murder investigation in history. But official reports and records, supplemented by our own investigations, point to a pattern of security failures which marked the day of the tragedy. Our investigations indicated that the Lockerbie bomb began its countdown on December 21st in Malta.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Morning, Joy. You stay in Malta. One bag. Is this your bag, please? You pack it yourself?
10:15 a.m. The departure of Air Malta KM-180 on its 1,000-mile flight to Frankfurt is the start of a journey which will carry the terrorist brown suitcase through 2 further flights and 2 distant European airports. The timer in Marwan Krisat's cassette bomb has less than 10 hours to run. "1 p.m., Frankfurt Airport. The flight from Malta has landed. The baggage from Malta enters the most complex computer-controlled system in the world. Investigations indicate that the terrorist suitcase moved through this system to its final checkpoint here in Frankfurt, Pan Am's interline X-ray screening for its evening flight to London connecting for New York. On the evening of December 21st, Pan Am's color X-ray machine is still not functioning. The only check of the interline baggage will be through the backup black and white X-ray. Pan Am's records show that passengers joining PA-103 from other airlines checked 12 bags at Frankfurt, but the checklist of bags X-rayed by Alert reveals that 1 extra bag passed through the machine on its way to the flight. No record of any accompanying passenger for that bag has been found. The X-ray operator on duty has received 1 day's training. It is unclear whether he has been made aware of the warning about a Toshiba cassette bomb. "4:30 p.m. A Boeing 727 is loading for its flight to London. "4:50 p.m. The plane leaves Frankfurt for London on the first leg of flight PA-103.
3 greens, brake pressure's okay, 93% safe.
5:40 p.m. The flight from Frankfurt approaches Heathrow Airport, London.
Out of rehearse.
104 lights on.
Where's Bart?
Under landing gear.
The 49 passengers arriving from Frankfurt and traveling on to New York will transfer with their baggage onto a Pan Am Jumbo already waiting alongside gate K16 at Terminal 3. The interline baggage already arrived in London from other starting points to connect with the New York flight is waiting in a container. The partially loaded container has remained unguarded for more than half an hour. None of these interline bags has been physically searched here. "5:50 p.m. The bags from Frankfurt are transferred to the waiting container, joining the other interline luggage for New York. No new security checks are made. Pan Am relies on the checks already made in Frankfurt. The container is loaded into forward cargo hold 14L of Pan Am's Jumbo, the Maid of the Seas. 6:25 p.m., 25 minutes late, Pan Am 103 takes off for New York with 243 passengers and 16 crew.
On behalf of myself, Captain Jim McQuarrie, and all of the captain's staff, I'd like to welcome you aboard our Pan Am Clipper flight to New York and to apologize for the slight delay in departure. Our flight plan this evening takes us north over the Scottish border, where we'll be requesting clearance to make our turn across the Atlantic. On behalf of all of us here, I'd like to thank you for flying Pan Am and to wish you a pleasant flight and a happy holiday. I'll call Prestwick for clearance, Ray. Good evening, Scottish.
This is Scottish. Ident, please.
This is Clipper 103, requesting oceanic clearance.
Clipper 103, good evening. For identification, Squawk 0357 with ident, please. Clipper 103, route direct, 59 north, 10 west to Kennedy. Maintain flight level 310. Clipper 103. Clipper 103. I've got multiple returns. It's showing 5 returns. They're fanning out downwind. Clipper 103, this is Scottish. Come in, Clipper 103. I've lost the Clipper.
Shuttle reports an explosion on the ground.
You're kidding. That must be the Clipper.